Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here to the Sports Innovation 2024, and we are talking now how Deloitte helps IOC to digitally transform, and I have two great experts by my side. So it's first Jochen Färber. He's head of Olympic Channel Services in Switzerland. Please a warm welcome for him. And then I have brought my colleague with me, Stefan Ludwig. He is our partner and lead of our Deloitte Sports Business Group. Also, a round of applause for Stefan, please. So, maybe you could both introduce you to our round of audience here. Can you please give us 3 key milestones of your career? Stefan.
Okay, I give you a start. A very warm welcome. It's first of all home game for me because I'm based in Düsseldorf, living in Krefeld. And probably for my career, major or 3 milestones is it's typically always the start. I entered the sports business 25 years ago in a sports marketing agency dealing with media, broadcasting and marketing rights. Typically in football, as we have heard a lot about, but we also took care of other rights. Second milestone is my entire period as a consultant, as an employee of major consulting firms. Lastly, Deloitte for more than 16 years now. And in between, I was on the other side of the spectrum of the sports business ecosystem. I was managing director of the German Football Federation, or to be more precise, managing director of 2 subsidiaries of the German Football Federation dealing with internationalization, digital aspects, but also merchandising and licensing.
Wow, what a great journey. Good to have you on stage. Jochen, how about you? Your 3 milestones.
I'm very well because actually 14 years ago we have been on stage in a different capacity. One of the milestones, I was working for the Munich bid 2018 to get the Winter Games to Germany. And he, at that time, was already consulting us as the bidding company. So that is one milestone, and it's a pleasure. It was a different setting. We have been in Garmisch-Partenkirchen with very critical people. I hope you are a bit more friendly today with us than the people at that time. But I started actually as a 15-year-old boy with photography and came from photography to the newspaper, to the radio, to the television. So I've been working for many years on that side of the broadcasting. But then I've worked, for example, as a communications director for the Munich bid. And in 2013, when Thomas Bach was elected, I followed him to Lausanne. And since 2015, I'm in charge of what we call the Olympic Channel, which is basically the platform that uses the video content that we have and try to connect with the fans and the users at home.
So you're a great expert on channels, like from very early stage. So Stefan, I'm wondering, like, what is the Deloitte's history with Olympic and Paralympic movement? Can you give us a bit of the deep dive?
Yeah, happy to do that. Probably many of you know that we are now top sponsor as a global firm of the International Olympic Committee and the International Paralympic Committee, but it started more than 20 years ago.
Yes.
For example, we've been auditor of the International Paralympic Committee for more than 20 years. We had to step down because of our engagement with the IOC as a top partner now. We have been supporting various bid committees and organizing committees, Vancouver 2010, London 2012, as Jochen mentioned, the bidding committee for Munich 2018. Around the globe, Deloitte has been supporting national Olympic and national Paralympic committees, and one of those activities and engagements is here in Germany. We have been partner of Team Germany and Team Germany Paralympic for more than 5 years. So we are supporting the Olympic and Paralympic movement on various levels around the globe. And it's just a perfect match for us.
Yeah, and I've heard that you are, Jochen, you are already on your transformation process, and I've heard about this Agenda 2020+5. What is the exact impact of this transformation also for Paris Games 2024?
Well, we see already here on the screen a little bit of a lookout what we're expecting on the 26th of July. That's a simulation of how it may look with the boats parade instead of being in a stadium in the city. And this is maybe already a kind of result that we try to achieve with this Olympic Agenda 2020 plus 5. The starting point was actually when Thomas Bach got elected in 2013. We had a one-year process discussion with all the IOC members what need to change. It's not his quote, but he likes to use it, change or to be changed. And it was very clear that the IOC doesn't want to be changed. We want to be active in changing ourselves. And we want to produce in the future games more sustainable, different, so that the fans and the youth of today still feels really engaged with this Olympic Games and the idea behind it. It's not just a sporting event. It's an event where we're bringing people and athletes from all over the world together, across different religions, different nations, different cultures, all of this. So this is one thing, and we started this agenda reform. The first one was called 2020. Because of the year, we wanted to achieve it by 2020, but because it was 20 plus 20 recommendations, so 40 in total, and Agenda 2020 plus 5 is, if you want, so the version 3.0 of the first reform. And in Paris, we will see a lot of these reforms actually being implemented and driving the games in a completely different direction from a sustainability, from an engagement perspective.
By the way, is there anyone in the room who is planning to join the Olympic Games this year?
Or the Paralympic?
I see one hand, two hands, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, maybe there were not too many tickets available, so maybe that's the reason.
But I see people will join. It looks amazing. I think we should also come, right? Stefan, how is Deloitte applying its deep expertise and also business consulting to help in this development?
Being a professional service firm with all the multidisciplinary services, we actually offered not only on a national level our partnerships with the NOCs and NPCs, but also on the global level, the IOC and the IPC, the breadth of our services. And one of the topics Jochen just mentioned, sustainability, is one area we are already focusing on. The Games in Paris will be neutral, economically sustainable games, and this is one of the activities we are supporting, both on an IOC level but also on an NOC level, to help them to be more sustainable, to help them to develop the respective sustainable strategies and so forth. All the other areas which we can offer as a management consulting firms are open for the IOC, the IPC, and the entire Olympic movement. So we are, of course, bringing in our financial expertise. We're bringing in our digital and IT expertise. And some of the results will be seen in Paris, but there's more to come, because the big advantage of working with Deloitte probably is that we can be present at the same time at various locations. So we currently have people on the ground in Paris, in Milan Cortina d'Ampezzo in Italy, in LA, where we're also a national partner, and also in Brisbane, because our partnership goes until 2032. And due to the standards we have within Deloitte and the exchange of information and knowledge and the transfer, we can service the different stakeholders at the same time.
Jochen, how about you? How did you experience the collaboration with Deloitte?
Well, we are proud to have such a partner on board. And we are here, of course, as well to speak about technology. And the IOC is not foremost a technology company. So we need to have some consultants and experts. We have great top partners that are on the technology side, and but still to find the right way and to tune it in the right direction, how the technology is used to the best benefit actually of the athletes, for example, because they're really at the core of our movement. And there are so many ideas. I mean, technology is moving so fast that what you think is a strategy 2 weeks ago is already old 5 weeks later.
Yeah.
So here you need to have someone at your side, and we have Deloitte, we have other technology top partners with us who are trying to help us navigate in the right direction, so that we do use it for the best benefit. And this is something, I mean, I said at the beginning, we both know each other for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And this diversity of what Deloitte brings to the table, being involved in national Olympic committees in the different areas of the world, and we have 203 current Olympic committees that are linked with the IOC, and that is a huge amount of diversity that need to be replicated.
Yeah.
Here we're in Europe, but yes, the Olympic movement is as well in Asia, in Africa, in Oceania.
Yeah.
And you need to take all these different things into consideration.
So let's become a bit more concrete when we are talking about technology. I have just been on the Olympics.com platform. Can you tell us a bit more, what is the impact of this platform and maybe also of other platforms?
What I said before, this Olympic agenda, this sounds very like in a strategy book. But if we break it down to a very concrete case, one of the 40 recommendations was to establish the Olympic channel.
Yeah.
Another recommendation was to fine-tune and consolidate all the different digital assets and handles that we had. We had over 80 different handles. Oh. You know, Organizing Committee A, Organizing Committee B, the Olympic Museum, the IOC, and then on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok. So in total, it was always 80. And we felt we need to trim it down to more consolidation. So we decided we go for Olympics.com. That is one element. The other, the peak moment when we're actually meeting with the fans is during the 17 days of the Olympic Games, or then later during the Paralympic Games. And this peak moment in the past was always the responsibility, when it comes to technology, web and app, the responsibility of the organizing committee. But the organizing committee closes after the Paralympic Games closing ceremony and dismantles. So in London, for example, 2012, responsibility of the London Organizing Committee, they reached 125 million users, unique users during the Games in London, which was maybe the first real digital Olympic Games at that time. Oh. But after closing ceremony of Paralympics, the 125 million are gone. So another move that we decided, we want to take the responsibility of the platform back on us, together with the organizing committee, but we don't have to close down web and app after the Games. The aim was to start this in 2022 with the Winter Games in Beijing, because it's smaller, it's easier to do. And for Tokyo in 2020, we were not ready yet. But then the pandemic actually came and helped us, because we had 1 year more to deliver, and we were already ready for Beijing. So we did already start in Tokyo. And there we had 196 million unique users in the Tokyo Games. We added for the Winter Games another, outside of China, of 65 million for the Winter Games. So we have a great base. And what you see today, what was an Olympic platform at the beginning, an institutional website for the IOC with some 1,000 users a month, we have now an average on Olympics.com of 10 million users per month. And we reached a peak last year, I think in September, where we had so far the peak of 18 million users. But I'm pretty sure this will go higher in the next weeks and months to come.
Wow, impressive numbers, 10 million people. And I think there are a lot of fans also in this round of people. How can Deloitte support these digital platforms, maybe also concerning fans?
Yeah, Jochen already explained it. There has been a consolidation in terms of channels and platforms they have been using, or different stakeholders of the Olympic family has been using. So this was step one. Now they have a huge amount of touch points, of data touch points with fans, customers, people interested in the Olympic and Paralympic movement. And this is something where you need to build your fan data strategy. And that's where we have been already helping. You know, with our start in 2020, we did a current state assessment, not only from the channels and geographies and the different interest areas where the Olympic movement is involved in, but also from the technology. So we looked at what is the best architecture for the platform, what kind of use cases, what kind of personas are typically. Jochen also mentioned 203 member NOCs. So theoretically, 203 different locations, different interests. And, like with the European Championships in football, you're typically interested in your athlete from your country. So you need to be in a position to provide the fans customized data, which is really of interest for them in order to attract them and to have the retention of them. If there is unnecessary content they are receiving, they might drop out and go to another portal. And this is an area we have been assisting the IOC with our experience in CRM, with our experience in IT architecture and developing such landscapes and such architecture, and also helping the IOC responsible people to use the respective tools and possibilities they have now. So we also trained them, and we are hoping to see a first impact with the Paris Games in 24.
We did actually. I have here a picture from one of these engaging moments from the Tokyo Games. The pandemic helped us dramatically because, as you remember, there were no spectators in Tokyo in the stadium. So how do you connect? This is a moment that we created through technology for the parents or the family of the athletes.
FaceTiming.
So the athletes could actually, after they came out from the field of play, they could actually meet mother, brother, sister on a video call. And we had another thing for the fans itself. They could send videos in, and that is then what we showed in the stadia to the athletes. So to bridge a bit this distance, which due to the pandemic was really difficult, but here technology helped us to bridge. And now, when going back to Paris, 100 years after they had the other games in 1924, we're really looking forward to actually do not just the engagement through digital, but even with the people coming to Paris, engaging with them through the digital platforms to make their kind of way through Paris way easier and more engaged and still connected as well with the athletes.
Yeah, and with many stakeholders, there also come many challenges, I guess. I mean, when I think of 10 million people, what would you say is the main challenge you had in these times?
The main challenge is still that you start such a project globally. So normally you start with English language, but the world is not English only. So the challenge is to break it down to the interest of the 203 territories in the world where it's multiple languages. And then you need to have different content. I don't know if you have an idea, but if we just go into the content that the IOC has in its archives, we have currently about 80,000 hours of video footage in the archive. Not all of this has already metadata. I think the time started very well around London Games 2012, where we started tagging all the data so we can actually then find video. But all the years before, they're not yet meta-tagged. And here, I hope that technology, I'm not hoping, I know that technology will help us in this. And here are the details. So the biggest challenge is really the localization of such a global event. If you try to promote it, engage with fans across the globe, to still be so close that they don't feel you're just coming from an English-speaking perspective or from a Western-speaking perspective. You need to embrace the global culture and go really down into the fine-tuned areas of localization.
I think the challenges we have here can also bring new opportunities, because another challenge I see is the knowledge transfer between these host cities we have. So athletes can learn from previous performances, and we can also, like future editions on Olympics Games, can build on learnings from previous ones. So this is also part of the platform logic I see, because legacy starts with learning. And in partnership with IOC, Deloitte has now developed this digital Olympic Games learning platform. So Stefan, what is the intention of this platform in your opinion, and how can we improve future games and learn from previous ones?
You already described it, and Jochen made a very important point. The organizing committees of major events, and that's not only the case for the Olympic Games, Olympic and Paralympic Games, but also for other major events, they build up over a time period of 3 to 5 years. At the time of the event, there are thousands of people in different departments with different responsibilities. And then, unfortunately, but typically, the organization dismantles. People need to find another job. They typically don't have time to document all the information and to make sure it's the knowledge they have gained over that period in their role for those games is transferred to the next next generation or to the next hosting city. In the past, I hate to say that, but many of us use it. It was based on SharePoint. It was just a download of documents. There was hardly any possibility. It was difficult to find and download the data which you require for your role in the next host city. So that's something we did in our current state assessment of the situation of the IOC and closely working with the organizing committees. And we developed a games learning experience platform which really meets state-of-the-art requirements. We can provide, based on AI, recommendations for content for users. We have a respective content database which is tagged. We have learning experience with social engagement. So it's much more up-to-date than it has ever been before. Why do we have experience for that? Because Deloitte is one of the largest learning organizations in the world with more than 450,000 people who are obliged to do regular learnings because of compliance reasons, but also because we want to develop those people in our organization. We do have those learning platforms ourselves and provide it to some of our customers. So this was really a sweet spot for us to bring the best of Deloitte to the IOC in order to help the movement.
And we are also here together to learn more about new technologies. AI is just one part of the game. So Jochen, what's next? Is AI also a part of your strategy? Can you demonstrate maybe a bit more how this could improve also your work?
Well, one thing is clear, the upcoming Paris Games will benefit already from AI, specifically in the broadcast technology. OBS, our broadcast operations team that runs the host broadcasting for the games, has implemented several ideas how AI will improve and help. For example, in the past, I just mentioned before the tagging. So if you want to bring content to the users, you need to have the content as well covered with meta tags so that you know where you find the smiling people, the sad people, the happy moments, the joyful moments, and all of this. And in the past, a lot of this was done manually, electronically as well. But now with AI, we definitely hope that some other parts of the content will be automatically tagged. And we heard it this morning as well. AI was basically in every second presentation, and it's here as well. The IOC has started a working group on AI, and we have the best scientists from MIT, from Oxford, and others among us. We have our top partners in there as well, specifically the ones who are like Deloitte helping us, or the technology partners. And what we want to achieve, I said it before, technology is evolving so fast. If you try to create a vision, maybe the vision is passed 2 days after you publish the vision. But the team has gone really in details and tries to find the global vision, the long-term vision, but as well very concrete action points to do, specifically to help athletes and to help the Olympic movement, how AI can be really a benefit for the whole Olympic movement. And I believe that very soon, maybe even before the Paris Games, we'll still come up with some concrete ideas and we'll share it.
Ah, that sounds promising. So anything else, Stefan, we need to be aware of in the future that comes to your mind concerning technology from our side?
Be at the games, watch it. I think it will be a wonderful opportunity. It's quite some time since it has been in the heart of Europe.
Yes.
From Düsseldorf or from our neighboring city, Cologne. It's a train trip. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going with my family. Yeah. I'm really thrilled that I can show my kids the Olympic spirit and the Paralympic spirit, and we will be there as Deloitte, as our global firm, as our with our national partnership with Team Germany. So this is my recommendation for how many days is it to the opening ceremony?
128 and 4 hours, something like this.
Yeah.
But you need to hope then, if you want to go by train, that between Krefeld, Düsseldorf and Aachen, until you cross the border, the train really operates. Huh?
I will make sure. I will make sure.
Okay, so maybe to finish this round, I have something that is not prepared, but can you maybe finish the sentence? The future of sports will be or is, Jochen?
Always depending on the best athletes of the world to motivate other kids to do the sport as well.
Wow. And Stefan?
Is a critical part of our society and so important for our kids to be engaged because it teaches you so many lessons for life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.